Good evening and welcome back to Dyson Sphere Program. My name is Pooks and today we're fixing the broken things. I was hoping that we could go on to do some factory building and stuff, and skip the whole fixing the broken things part. But alas, we really need to fix the broken things. There are plenty of them. In the last episode, we previously on Pooks Does Dyson Sphere, we built this, or finished building this particular mall that you can see here, which is great and everything, and these malls are shipping goods into Stella, which is great. But the downside here, of course, is that, it's yoinked a whole heap of product out of my available capacity to build things, and we haven't caught up. Not by a long shot. No sorry. And so in the intervening time today, I've been wandering around trying to work out what I'm short of. I mean, in a way, this has actually been a blessing in that it's told me what I really need to expand my capacity or for production on. So if we head over here, we can see all the basics we got covered, as you would expect. But then things like, where was it? Things like titanium alloy were short. Blue motors we are short. Puddle containers we started to get short. Particle broadband we're well and truly short of. Framing materials we're short on. And to a large extent we were also short on crystal silicon. So I've wandered around and fixed some of these issues. Actually, you can go in there and if I can get it. Yeah, you can go in there too. I've wandered around and fixed some of these issues, but many of them remain. Many issues. So, tonight we'll be fixing up, or attempting to fix up, as many of those issues as possible. Alright. So, I feel that the two most, or there's maybe three critical issues. Framing is kind of not unexpected. Particle broadband, I feel, needs to actually really be addressed because it's also crucial for the production of assembling machines, or the latest tier of assembling machines. And yeah, I'm running out of them. I am running out of our capacity to produce those. So first off on the list will be particle broadband. The next one that we really want to shore up production of is supermagnetic rings. Basically, we've got a very small factory producing these, and many reasons to need them, especially in the way that we've belted this up to the point where it's actually delaying the production of belts down here. And that's actually a problem with me going forward and doing better, greater things later on, right? We're only getting these tiny little amounts that are working their way through into here, so we get, oh, hang on. Hold up. We are missing an entire input here. How did we miss that? What? Okay. That actually kind of partially explains it. Like it's still a problem with blue things. But yeah, that is a real issue. Alright. Apparently we didn't finish this. Let's get it finished. And we'll do that. That. I should be able to just copy this down. Oh, no, apparently not. Oh, yeah, I can. Just misclicked. Go. Right. So carbony things, graphene. Organized carbon, please. Now I know that I was hunting around for something that wanted organized carbon. It was here. I ended up running that on a single line. Ah, okay, so we can do a third belt off this. Cool, that's what we're gonna do. What we're gonna do, folks. This is up to limit 3. Down we go. Oh, yeah. Limit 4 it is. Oh, nope. Limit 5. Number 5. Apparently that's something I don't use all that often. Alright. Now you can get down to limit 2, hopefully. Can go to there. Down to limit 1. Or ground level, as we like to say. And we're good. Oh, just getting messages on my phone. Nope. No, that's just Twitch saying I can manage my chat via my mobile phone, but I don't need to. Alright. Now we have problems with blue motors. Before we just had problems with blue motors, but now we have genuine problems with blue motors. As well as a few of those things have made it in here. Yeah, we got 90 belts. Congrats to us. Tiny amounts. Okay, so let's go and fix all the broken bits. Now, I already fixed a problem with plastic here. Basically, we weren't getting enough petroleum in here. And we were down to like 700 plastic, so that's being nipped in the bud, as it were, which is good. Simply by the whole problem was all about oil. We didn't have enough input anymore, which is not surprising given that this is down to like 0.1275 per second. So we just had tapped a few local oil wells on our planet, and now this guy's spitting out the petroleum. It's also spitting out hydrogen, which by itself is actually somewhat of a problem, or will become a problem once our storage fills up. Because honestly, our fractionators here aren't, yeah, they're all jammed up, and it's relying on red science. Alright, so particle broadband all comes from here. And it has a crystal silicon problem. Not to be confused with the crystal meth problem. I thought I did something with crystal silicon. Now the problem with crystal silicon is the pardon me. The advanced recipe actually requires assemblers, not smelters. So when I went to go solve that, it wasn't as solvable as I first thought it might be. So it could be that we just need to kind of fix that problem now. Where does crystal silicon come in? I think it might be coming in here. Well, it does have a local supply, and I'm wondering, I just set this thing to like demand. Local demand, yes, bring it to me. That might actually solve some of our problems here. Or at least we'll use the bit that's been stored up. Like that's probably more likely. We're just going to drain this. Nothing like a band-aid on that problem. Alright, that'll get this working again at least for a bit. Till the whole problem is actually solved. Is there anyone else that actually demands crystal silicon? I don't think so, but I could be wrong. It would be over here actually. Be one of our moles here. Yeah, you're demanding it. You know what? You can just restrain yourself at 3,000. Need more from there, then go by all means. But given the main use of that is going to be to produce batteries and not much else. Is there any other outputs? Yeah, all you're making is batteries. I'm good for you to not get some for a bit. And yet you get the next load, really? It's okay. It's okay. As long as it's coming in here and we have a steady output. Alright. So that is helping somewhat. And by helping, we now have a bit of a supply of it happening. Can't really extend this out in a kind of cheap and easy way either. Okay, let's go have a look at our blue factories. Blue motor factory. Here we go. Alright, so we've got plenty of magnets coming in, but I'm a little bit concerned about the energetic graphite, and by a little bit I mean a lot. Yeah, so these aren't working because of it. Pardon me. So we have two options. We can go with an interstellar transport option, which I honestly think is going to be the... Hey, it's just down here. Is going to be the best option. Because on our smelty McSmelt world... Oh. Yeah, about that. You know what? Looking like a great day for planetary logistics. I did say that this is a stopgap measure, right? Yep, stopgapping production. Pretty sure that's the title. Why? Oh no. That's a bad sign. Did I press too many buttons? Oh, hang on. Something's happened. Yep, something ain't great. Yeah, lockup. The lockup is real. Although I can still hear the sound of things when I press buttons, so... I think an autosave may have killed us. That's alright. We can do the good old... Oh, can we do the good old control delete? Yes, we can. Ah, it's a good view for task managers. Everyone loves a good view of task manager, surely. That is it. Bear in mind, while we just go to black for a little bit, I will still be here. Don't be afraid of the dark. It's just the lack of camera happening. Yes, Adobe Creative Cloud. I know that you want to start up again, but I really don't want you to. Alright, I think we can re-enable our caption, screen capture. We can get back to things working. It's also known as the Circle of Doom on screen now as well. Oh, come on, don't do that to me. Why? Oh, no, you're not going to do that to me. Fantastic. That's alright, we hadn't gotten that far into today's episode slash stream anyway. No! Don't do that to me. Oh god, don't have destroyed my save game. That looks like the latest before everything went to crap. Do not break. Hey, we're back with the rather unfortunate view. Okay, so I know what I need to actually replicate now, and that was largely to do with crystal silicon wasn't ending up where I wanted it to be, so we'll fix that now. So you can be a local demand. Maybe just up it a little bit to 4K. And say that we really don't need that much here. Remote demand up to, let's say, 2000. That's basically what we've done. And now we just gotta wait for it to kind of catch up. Okay, so, that's the other thing I'd done. I'd done some belting. I realized there was a mistake in our blue belt setup in our mall, which is why nothing had been produced. So let's go fix that now. Actually curious to know. Let's go just check out some problem stats. Alright, so just bringing it in here in terms of when we get the low frame rates, it's actually a GPU problem, which is not what I expected. I was expecting, say, a memory or CPU tick problem rather than a GPU problem. So I wonder if I can do something along that. I mean, apart from just upgrading. Oh, that's good to know. I might fiddle around with some controls for the GeForce settings on this at some point. But what we'd also done down here was we realized that the graphite here wasn't getting to the point where it should be. Pardon me. Anyway, how you doing, Crystal? Happy Friday. Or at least I'm happy it's Friday. It's the end of the week for me, which is fantastic. Currently Friday night, chilling out with some Dyson Sphere program and a glass of red. Alright, so this will fix our issues as to why we haven't been actually producing any of this. It won't fix our blue motor issue. That it did. It did April for me. Say I ain't gonna take this no more. It wants shorter working hours and more pay. is that our blue matter factory is not keeping up, so let's go find that again. Here we are. Now I do have a graphite factory somewhere, but I'm out of interstellar logistic places. So all I'm going to do to fix this up is actually just, oh, see, this is where we locked up before, is just give it some more coal. It's going to demand a whole heap locally. And there has to be somewhere that's supplying it, which is great, and we'll give it some drones as well so it can do its own supply. Get up to 100%. And yoink up power a little bit faster as well. And that'll solve our issue, and it's going to run it down into here. Choose the graphite that we need. We might actually need this to be out a little bit further. Kind of messy setting up more production here. Ah, happy birthday to your mum. That's cool. Birthday present. Sounds exciting. Sorry for the delayed reaction as well. I only just read that. It's like, oh, man, I really need to say something here. Good choice. I feel like as well that coffee is a better choice for the morning than red wine. I'm assuming it's morning at your end. On the 4th. Yeah, 3 days ahead of time. That's probably more thought that or more preparation than I give most of my gifts as well. I'm that guy who goes Christmas shopping on Christmas Eve. Also, now that we're on stream, I actually checked this out before, but we have our first Dyson sphere fully completed, and it's even got its swarm in place now. So it hasn't worked out, kind of, not the way I was expecting, really. I was expecting a little bit more counter-rotationally goodness, because I was thinking that we would be stationary in space, but that's not the case because we're actually following the orbit. So yeah, it's a sphere. It's functional. But I do have big plans for our next one. I was originally gonna think and do. Yeah, it's done. I was gonna think of just a boring one for the next one, but I've scrapped that, and we're actually going with an exciting one. And speaking of which, let's go have a look at the design for it, because off screen I have done a little bit of work. And I'm honestly not sure what else I can do to shore up production at this point. I've really got to think about it for a bit. I'm very low on assemblers. Well, it does do what it says on the box. You know, produces energy. You can kind of see the counter rotation from this perspective. That inner ring is, I think it needed to be like multiple inner rings or something that were very thin or something like, oh, sorry, very thin for it to work out the way I was thinking, so you could peek through, and every time you peek through you see all these flecks of solar sails kind of circling in the middle. But that's okay, you learn each time you do one of these. So we're going to go have a look at Arrakis and the design for the Dyson sphere over there. Oh, it always does. This is a pretty beautiful game. I mean, a lot of the graphics are really simple, but I really like a lot of the graphics as well because they are simple. And then there's just a few things that they've paid a good attention to make it look good. Yeah, that's it. Oh, hang on, we just blew past Arrakis. How did that happen? It usually slows me down when I get into a solar system. Oh, we just cut it here. So, our next Dyson sphere is gonna look like this. Now, you might be thinking, what the hell is this guy smoking at this point in time, especially if we stop hiding the back structures, and then it just really hurts your head, right? So let's look at it up a little bit closer. I'm just going to hide these two layers, and we're just looking at layer 1 and 2 at the moment. And as you can see, each layer is just a series of squares, and then the second layer is a series of squares flipped the other way. But as they both rotate each way, then they get into alignment each way. And then if we cancel those two layers and just put up the next two, then we've got it like this instead. Got these little things counter-rotating, getting into a... Oh, that's a bad sign. I'm very close to the sun. That could have been messy. I was kind of wondering what would happen if you crashed into the sun in this game. Nice and toasty marshmallow. Oops. Anyway, back to the sphere, and then yeah, it's gonna kind of barrel roll here. So once we actually bring these all in, and the 4 layers, which are about 1,000 apart from each other, are all going to, every so often that's aligned, and that's aligned, and every so often I think from the design, if I remember correctly, will actually fully align. So you just see this checker piece or fully closed Dyson sphere. That's kind of the idea. And I've also kind of planned out the star system as well, in that we have first up Arrakis launch. Arrakis launch actually has some logistic stations and whatnot, so we might actually head there. Just put a pointer towards it. Yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see what it looks like once it's fully past it. Damn it. It'll be interesting to see what the sphere looks like once it's all put in place and is in practicality. The other thing that I did while I was not on camera was put down the base logistics for Arrakis launch. So we now have these logistics towers that will request all the things that I'm going to need to set up this solar system. So yeah, now one of the main reasons why it's not working is because, you know, we can't start until we really have a decent supply of conveyor belts, which we don't. Belts are very important, and I can't really build without them. But I have set up some basic power. So we've got the artificial stars, we've got a roll of solar panels here as well. And if we just go into the planetary view, I've also put down all the mining stations that wouldn't, so we can get all the materials off this, as well as kind of off camera been working off a pattern for our solar sail launches. And the reason why I have all this in my inventory for the vertical launching silos is because I also want to be able to put those down from here. So the point of Arrakis launch is that it is going to be setting up the Dyson sphere while we set up the rest of the planets. But it also is going to be our main power supply. So once we've set up the Dyson sphere, once I can dismantle the launchers, etc., then it will be the thing that sucks up the power from the Dyson sphere and sends it around the solar system or wherever it's needed, so that we can have power everywhere. But otherwise, the plan for the Arrakis system is that we will have your basic, which is going to be things like making cogs or magnetic coils, you know, all the basic things. Prisms will be manufactured here, not glass because that's really a smelting activity. Titanium alloy, probably magnetic coils, all the kind of really base sort of materials that you might need gonna come from here, but it's a manufacturing base as well. Also, the crystal silicon, I think, is deserving of your basic. Then after there, we will have, where is it? Middling, lesser, or the same. It's missing the M up the top right hand corner, but you can see it here. Direct Witcher quote, I know. It's a good series, what can I say? But that's going to be our mid-tier sort of component production. So anything I determine deem is a mid-tier thing. So I'm thinking processors maybe, or things like microcrystalline components or photon combiners or maybe plasma exciters and that sort of thing will be built on or assembled on that particular planet. We will have Dune here as well, which hasn't changed its name since I named it. And that'll be actually an oil refinery type planet or anything involving a chemical facility will be happening there. Which I kind of think is appropriate given, you know, Dune is meant to be producing spice and whatnot. Yeah, that's my segue anyway. I might also be making it a spray painter factory. I'm thinking, because I'm going to need a good source of proliferation materials because I'm actually running out across everywhere. But yeah, Dune will refine oil into petroleum, and it will use that petroleum to make plastics. It'll use it to make some organic crystals. I'll need to import some water into there as well, which is again kind of appropriate for Dune. And we'll also be making things like carbon nanotubing there from the base materials, as well as graphene. Pardon me. Next up from there will be Sophisticated Sir, which will be more of our sophisticated components. So I'm thinking, you know, Casimir crystals maybe, or where we need possibly particle containers. I think that might be. That's it with the Dyson shingles, the chicken pox of stars, or annihilation constraint spheres, or frame materials, anything that's going to take a little bit of time or a little bit of effort to make. The other thing that Dune could actually be possibly making as well is things like strange matter, where we've got those particle accelerators working to produce, you know, strange stuff. But that's the rough plan, or the rough, you know, thing for Arrakis, is to give us a kind of a mid-level or multi manufacturing level. Roof shingles. Yes, that's appropriate as well, but you know, the star infected with chickenpox, I think we could get away with that comparison as well. Anyway, we're standing in the middle of nowhere, doing absolutely nothing but talk. So, let's head back to Big Brain and see if we can shore up this production so that we can actually get to producing that factory. We'll head back to Earth and see what can be done. Now, also in the break, you know, you can tell how long it's been if you look at the number of hours that have elapsed. It's been maybe 2 or 3 hours that I managed to... No Caladan. Well, that's got to be a different solar system, right? And presumably, if we do Caladan, it needs to be a water world, and I need to leave it alone. It's meant to be untouched, right? And, you know, a really light hand. And then we can find like a lava planet for the Harkonnen. But yeah, it's been maybe 2-3 hours actually elapsed since we were streaming last, where I've been running around putting up fires. I nearly actually ran out of warpers, I worked out, which was a close call, because the whole thing would have fallen apart if I didn't have a regular stream of warpers. So I shored that up, that production up, to an extent, and by to an extent I mean, you know, band-aid. So essentially I just made sure that this actually had some particle containers again, so it's producing these, and added up I think another middle row or something, or end row of the warpers here, and then chuck some of the green science in so that we wouldn't run out. And we seem to be okay now, but yeah, it's not something we really want to take for granted. Anyway, let's go. I think blue motors is the thing that I can really influence the most at the moment. Yeah, now I'm missing magnets. Really? Yeah, apparently we are. Alright. I would love some interstellar logistics, really. I think I might still have some maybe in my regional mall. Because I know that I've got a magnet refinery going on. We just got to take advantage of that. Yeah, we're still at 10 here, so we'll grab them. Got a nice good stack of rockets here. Pity they don't stack up very well. Alright. So we'll drop this in the middle here. It can remote demand this, and it will just bring it in from the other things. That'll give us our magnets. What else are we missing for this? Green. Are we missing green motors? No, we're not really. So we could probably squeeze in a few more, and that's what we'll try and do. Today's episode is not really about sophisticated building techniques or anything like that, or even building techniques that anyone else should really follow, but rather just kind of making it work and well enough to get us to the next stage. Yeah, it's not gonna fit. Here's the autosave, moment of truth. Yeah, we survived it. Alright. Call out a once-off glitch earlier then. But the good news is we've got all these guys working now. Oh, this is way too small. I should have built a bigger one. I knew it at the time. Alright. What can we do? We've got 22 of these things. We could make some new rungs to this. Yeah, we can do that. Surely. Do that. Use it now. Damn it. Coordinate systems. Damn you. That's alright. We will work it out. I go up to here. Grab a splitter. Oh, wrong one. I want this type. And in. Cross. Might as well go magnet to here. Can I get you to go over? Nah. Alright, we'll go magnet to there and get it to go over. Down. And across. Just want to leave it, but I think I might need the splitter. Just like that. This. Motors. Should get a few more incoming, which is good. And I think I want to try and duplicate that. Which means I really want to cut this. Give it another splitter. Silly. It's alright, go around. belts anymore. I'm probably running on very limited belts. Okay, the temporary fixes are in. That should shore up a little bit of blue belt supply. Not heaps, but it will increase the rate somewhat. Let's go. How many? We've got 10 more of these. Let's go look at particle broadband, because that's important as well. Oh, hang on. Clean up duty here. Alright, yeah, that's definitely going as fast as it can. As in, it's got full materials. Are we proliferating everything? No, we're not. Alright, that'll be a bit of a boost if we get that happening. That'll help a little bit. In fact, it should help. How many percent? 20%. 12.5 actually. Yeah, 20% extra products, so that's a pretty good increase just by making sure those are proliferated. Maybe part of the problem is that we are using an awful lot for science purposes. So I'm wondering if I do possibly the unthinkable here and just do that. Actually, what I should do, cut it off there, at least let storage go, things that are banked up. Nothing else. Process your last processing things, folks. After that, it's not strictly necessary that we now need our science. It's a very short-term solution, but I think it's actually more important that we're using it for production purposes than using it for anything else. guys are starting to not use it so much. You know what, we'll cut there too. Everything should be going into it now. Now, the reason why particle broadband is so important is I actually need it for assembling machines. And I'm quite literally down to my last 10 here. Of the Mark IIIs anyway. Ah, maybe not. Excellent. That's what I want to see. Now, you've noticed that I've expanded out this. It's because I want this to run out and this to run out. So I'm letting them all kind of drain here. Kind of like draining a swamp. In that it takes a very long time. I also upgraded our capacity for particle containers here, but we seem to be missing a key ingredient. That ingredient is copper. So copper, wherefore art thou? Ah, interesting. Alright, that's alright. We can fix you that as well. We have a cure for that. It is called imports. Yeah, definitely broadband factories will be a bit more higher priority than they have been. Till now it's just been, you don't need that many of them. But there'll be a dedicated factory in the future. Oh yeah, we've got copper coming in at a faster rate. That'll help a lot, I suspect. Especially because of that, should be double stacked as well. So that'll help with our particle containers, which are down to the bone as well. It's actually been a slight panic mode, but also really useful in constructing this mall in that it's really telling me what I'm out of, like annihilation constraint spheres, or what. It's stress testing the whole thing and telling me what I'm going to run out of, and that's useful to know in terms of, well, okay, that's when I need to shore up on my production then. And annihilation constraint spheres are actually really important for my power. How we doing on? Yeah, we got plenty of antimatter for now, but that's also bad. Guys, you need more. Right. Hang on. We're not burning the hydrogen fast enough. Guys, burn hydrogen. How are you not burning the hydrogen fast enough? Got heaps of you. It's alright, we've got some in the factory down here. This is what I mean by stopgapping, is you wander around, you find all the problems, and you try and pull it together with duct tape and glue. Let's grab a few of you guys. Yeah, slowly getting there. Photons are fine. We have heaps of photons, right? That's not a problem, because if we look here, we're producing 26 gigawatts with our Dyson Sphere, so we're not even demanding half of it. That's not the problem. Problem is that we're not burning off the hydrogen component of this. Now, it is actually producing matter and antimatter in equal components, so I could run the belt down to here instead of demanding it. That demand is technically coming from gas planets. Might be a better idea, to be honest. So it won't be short and it won't be over. Yep. I've convinced myself. Keep it simple, stupid. Alright, but what to do with all this? Well, whee! Nobody saw that, right? You know, the destruction of matter. Oh, hang on. Gotta fix that. So we need to just light a match to the entire thing. Speaking of getting rid of dumping in things. I love how it's got a recycle icon for the Eurasian. Okay, that should fix our antimatter problem actually permanently. And I no longer need these guys, so we'll get rid of them. Yeah, if you had a if you had a logistics station that full of hydrogen, there's no way you would let smoking anywhere near it. Highly flammable. Big boom boom. Really, I've still got. Oh, what? No, I don't want to do that. Hang on. That's what I wanted to do. Pick you up and get rid of you. Okay. What else do we need? I think we need titanium alloy. Something that I was hoping to build in Arrakis. I suspect it's what's holding up our frame material production a fair bit. As long as I'm producing belts again, I don't think I care too much. How are we doing on belt production down here? Well, you certainly don't have any of these, but you're the wrong thing here. Yeah, so this heap of it's coming here and it's just not working out. How many times do I split that? Running down the line, coming around. Splitting again here, so it splits twice, so we only really get a couple in here. It's starting to produce something. How much? Okay, we got 1800. That'll get there. slowly but surely. It'll get there in the same way that, you know, someone with a limp can eventually travel across half the planet. It gets there, but it's not exactly efficient. It's not necessarily the shipping, I don't think at the moment, producing the bottleneck. I think it is just the sheer lack of production of things. So while I've been fixing up the inputs to a degree, the inputs are only half the story. I think it's really the outputs that's the problem. I'm pretty happy, I think. Not over the moon, don't get me wrong. Oh, I want to grab all this. How do I grab all this again? Right click. Not over the moon, but I can do that, and that gives me a whole chunk of them, right? I think that's going to give me enough to start Arrakis. And while I'm building stuff, it'll probably flow in and give me more stuff. This is the thing that really needs to happen. And then it also kind of gives me some priorities to work on for Arrakis as well. In that I know that if I build a blue motor factory there, and a particle broadband factory there, and to do the particle broadband, to be honest, I'm going to need a plastic factory. And to do the plastic, I'm probably going to need to be importing oil. Certainly got then enough refineries that we can do the oil refining on a June. That. Grab another chunk of these. This is why I haven't dismantled my mole as well, is I can turn it on if I need to. I might just keep everything just so it's got one. Just keeping to reduce that. So I think I've got those at the other end, but I'll grab them anyway. Get rid of the paint now. Drop in the second tier stuff over here. The other thing I can do, whatever it is, actually no, I'll keep it on me. Alright, let's prioritize. I think that's the way that we get through this. Super magnetic rings. We definitely need those because we can't live without belts. Particle broadband is going to be next because we really need assemblers to continue to be produced. That's, you know, very important. Not run out of those. If I can get those two built, then I think the third will be particle containers. Because we definitely want that to keep coming. Now the process to build particle broadbands, one of the key kinks to that is going to be all three of the components, which which is the crystal silicon, the plastic, and the carbon nanotube. So that requires a whole heap of work on June to make sure that we have the appropriate levels of graphene and the appropriate levels of plastic, and that also means that we need to import oil to a large degree. So what that is telling me is that we need to go and invade. America wants to invade, and make sure that that's going to be exporting all the oil that we need to import into June. Now, if you've forgotten where America wants to invade, that's our original organic crystal place, and I believe that was in the Murphak system. Yep, America wants to invade is here. That's correct. So with this we can use rare resource for the crystal silicon, but I think with the carbon nanotube, while we've got that happening, I actually want another carbon nanotube factory. And yeah, plastic is the main headache. Plastic is always the main headache. Oh, hit a gas giant. Did not see that in the way. Okay, here we are, and America wants to invade. What we're going to do is run around and place down our oil extractors, oil wells, or whatever you want to call them. Because this place has 88 a second of crude oil waiting to be exploited. Thank you. Alright. Interstellar there. And start. Hello, autosave. No! Oops. Alright, do that. You're gonna want to store up crude oil. Yep. I mean, the other potential option is I could have really called it Saudi Arabia or something, but that just seemed too easy. We'll give it some warpers. Because these belts will be overkill for it. Yeah, I guess I could have called it Texas as well. I'm just waiting for a big Australia, a big coal planet. And then, you know, in the great Australian tradition, I could say, let's destroy the barrier reef for coal. It'll be a really long name, but it will be quite appropriate to what our government does. It is a pretty planet. So, what is this planet type again? It's something... Oceanic jungle. There's no such thing as passive aggressive, it's just plain aggressive. Anytime anyone is passive aggressive towards you, then you know they're just trying to hide it up. I think that was plain sarcasm. I'm pretty sure I was very straightforward with the intent that was meant to be a dig at someone. Alright, but let's keep going with the crude oil. Now, I think what I'll do is maybe make a central export place, because it's not going to collect all that fast. So you can local demand, remote supply, make sure you do it 100% when we do it. So otherwise I'm going to be trying to belt things up all over the place for all remote oil wells like these. I do find it kind of ironic that you're like this super sophisticated robot from the future, right? And you're still burning oil to get energy. We still haven't worked our way past plastic. Like, really? All this cool technology, you still can't work out that problem? We've got another one down here. We've got more. There's a group of 3 that feels like it's worthwhile. To the left. They're dinosaurs? Like, where? Have I been blind this entire time? Or do you mean the actual lack of any kind of life? They all seem to have been hit by a comet at some point before we arrive. if they're made like the advanced mining sort of thing version of oil. Like advanced oil rig or something, so you could tell it to just be picked up by logistics rather than having to always belt it up. Ah, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Most complex hydrocarbons do come from some kind of life. Coal certainly comes from compressed plant matter, so it would make sense that oil would come from deceased organisms, whether marine or dinosaur based. Who knows, maybe they're attempting to solve the Fermi paradox here by saying basically everything died and only robots remain. And we've got a few seeps over here. Oh, hang on. You sir need power. I thought you all look connected. Hang on. Ah, missed a bit. There we go. Alright, I think that's going to be enough oil. Certainly the interstellar station should be full. Yep, it is. Do I have any canisters? If I do. I do indeed. Oh, there's our alarm as well. But before we head off, we definitely want to build storage on this stuff. And one more lot, I think. Now, storage is going to go somewhat like this. Tell it to loop out and in, across, and across, across, around like this, then straight back in again. So while it might do a little bit of circular motion, it should fill up, I'm pretty sure. Actually, especially if I do something along the lines of this, where we've got a double output. Triple output. Means these things should fill up faster than they can output. Is that going to cause a problem? Not sure. Should make filling it faster, but I'm not sure if it's actually going to cause a problem later on when I want it to empty. Certainly filling up quickly. Yeah, because it's stacking. These are actually stacked. I like the graphics for the oil. What's it going to do? It's going to fill up these ones and be inputting it back in as fast as it fills up. The silence is me thinking, sorry. I have to admit it does hurt a little. I think it's going to do what we want. I mean, if nothing else, I can just leave it to see if it does do what I want. My only concern is that once this is empty, if it's emptying at triple rate to input rate, then it'll never build up enough to actually export. It'll just fill up as soon as it gets things. So I think realistically, probably the only way to do it is to have another logistics station. Yeah. I think that's it. As much as I do like the elegance of just running it in a loop somehow, I don't think it'll work. So I think what we'll do is put down this guy. Go. You're gonna demand oil. As many drones as you've got. This, go up one. Like that. Fill up the oil that way. Get as much power as you need to send people off, please. Basically, it can replenish stocks that way. Have build up towards a reserve when this thing's not actually getting local oil brought into it. Yeah, that'll work. Alright. So, let's, just before we finish, we'll head back to Fractal is somewhere we want to visit too. Because Fractal has fractal silicon and I do want to harvest that. Before we sign off for tonight, we'll just go see how our suppliers of balloon motors, and things are holding up to see if we're, continuing to produce all the mold parts we need. And then we'll sign off from there, I think. Time is at 9:51. Yeah, alright. Ah, no, no, no. God, controls. There we are. We're heading in the right direction. Okay. A nice high orbit view of a very industrialized planet. Oh, bounce off the factory roof, I think. Yeah, we're certainly using up all that. I was kind of hoping when I stopped using the research that this might be a little bit more stocked up, but apparently not. Granted, I am telling it to work flat out all the time now, I think, so that does kind of make sense. The motors? Yeah, got none stocked up. That's probably not too much of a surprise. As long as we're starting to stack up some, yeah, we're starting to stack up some belts. Hey, and we also have 1,000 of these guys in here. All right, that is a good sign. That is a good sign. We can move to Arrakis in the next episode. Great. All right. So that is where we will make the cut on the stream tonight. Thank you everyone very much for watching, and the next episode we'll continue on with our plans to build our factory in Arrakis over here. Now that we've shored up some of the production we need to let us get that leapfrog, so to speak, we'll go to Arrakis launch and set up Arrakis launch so it can actually start importing those rockets, as well as some solar sails to speed into our Dyson sphere. From there, we'll probably set up Dune first with its necessary power transfer between Arrakis launch and Dune to power everything, as well as our chemical plants and factories that will be necessary there. And then after that, we might actually go to middling, lesser, or the same to set up our acid titanium production sort of things, as well as some of the other bits and pieces. So lesser, middling, or the same can produce definitely. Oh no, actually that's your basic. Your basic is crystal silicon, let's face it. But it can probably do blue motors. That's a middling to advanced recipe, I think. Anyway, we'll decide that at the time. But thank you again very much for watching. This mole has really stressed out my manufacturing capabilities, which is not unexpected, really. I thought my current manufacturing capabilities might do a little bit better than it did, but it really didn't. But that's okay, because we now have the ability to launch into our first mega factory solar system, and that's what we will continue on with the next episode. Have a great night, and if I'm not sure that I'll be streaming over the weekend or not. I might actually be streaming a different game. I'm looking at a voxel sort of factory game that I'm thinking of getting back into, but we'll see. We will see. maybe there will be some Dyson Sphere coming up. Otherwise, you can definitely expect me on the usual time around about 8:30 to 9ish my local time each weeknight to continue the slow but sure production of Dyson Sphere program. Thanks again for watching. My name is Pix, and I'll see you next time.